Greetings and welcome to yet another episode of Old Drunken Discography, where old friends come together to argue, agree, give random drunken comments, and occasionally go off the rails to talk about some music. This week's artist, if you haven't been paying attention, we're talking about some Green Day. This is Jason's pick. That's Jason.
Hello.
He's ODD master. Um, and then, uh, you know, me and the peons here. That's Bill. Join
I
us,
have opinions.
right? And I'm Tim. I have opinions, and I've been voicing them about Green Day, where we occasionally argue. And yeah, today we're talking about an album that Green Day put out called Revolution Radio. Have you ever heard of it? Well, of course you have. You clicked on the video. If you're clicking on this video, but you haven't watched all the previous albums that we've already discussed, go ahead, hit like, then subscribe, then go to page, and then you can play the whole playlist. And we talk about all these random discographies. Starting us off on this delicious episode is going to be Jason. Jason, how does Revolution Radio sound to you?
Let's see. Where am I at? All
That
right.
was a terrible
Revolution
intro, by the
Radio.
way.
We're keeping it because the editor don't want to redo it.
Nope, just throwing it out there.
Any editors out there? We need a good editor. Somewhere Now, worst opening track in the discography. I like Brutal Love more than this. The opening lines are I'm running late to somewhere now that I don't want to be. I feel like that kind of sums up the whole album. There's this theme of nostalgia, looking back on the past, along with the commercial failure of the trilogy. Green Day's going back to doing what sells. That's this album in a nutshell. The only good thing about the song is how they tie it into the end, but man, that's like lazy. I mean, fucking drunk Lawrence Arms can do that. I'll skip this one 99% of the time when I want to listen to Revolution Radio, because why waste time when you got Bang Bang? It's nothing new here, but this song kicks ass. Give me more of this. This is my Green Day. Trey's fucking killing it. The chorus is so fun to sing along with. The bridge is pretty fucking cool. The title track, it's great. The verses are fun. The chorus is catchy, but it's just another Fisher Price, My First Rebellion song that American Idiot and 21st Century are. There's nothing wrong if a 12-year-old hears the song and starts to think. But if you are that 12-year-old, I urge you to dig deeper than Green Day for some real political bands like the Dead Kennedys, Propaganda, International Noise Conspiracy, Bikini Kill.
Right, some real punk bands, too.
Those are just a few we covered on the channel. Go check out those discographies. If you want that similar sound to Green Day, I start with No Effects and just go from there. Say Goodbye. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but my youngest kid, who was around 6 at the time, started singing it all the fucking time. So it just reminds me of that. So nostalgia. I like it.
Big with the 6-year-olds.
Yeah.
Big crowd, big crowd.
And she's grown up to
You
be
know,
a very...
a lot of spending power. A lot of spending power.
And you know what? She's got Operation Ivy on vinyl, and she's gone down that road, and she's heard those other political bands that I've talked about. Outlaws, it sounds like 21st Century. I like the nostalgia feel it has. My favorite line's Hooligans, we destroyed suburbia. It has a few little tempo changes that are kind of neat, but it's a little long. Bouncing Off the Wall might have been my favorite on the album. It's just a fun riff. The chorus is that damn fine 70s rock and roll chorus. Still Breathing. This is one of the only songs that Green Day has that has outside writers. You can kind of tell like it was written to be a hit single. It's a total radio rock song. Fuck me, it's still fucking good. It just kind of nails it. The chorus hits. Favorite line is, I'm like a son that was raised without a father. I'm like a mother barely keeping it together. Good shit. Young Blood, maybe my favorite on the album, actually. It's a love song to Adrian. It's kind of like Church on Sunday. I love all the references that you would get. You'd only get if you were like a Green Day fan and you knew about Billy and Adrian. She's my weakness. Fucking genius. I want to hold you
Not
like a
Amanda, not
gun.
Ashley, not Amy, but Adrian.
Adrian. Do you see? Do you see it? No, Adrian's like that's the one.
Okay.
Uh, the best line is, "Are you restless?" She said, "Fuck you. I'm from Oakland." The music video is great as well. Like there's some hidden shit in the music video. Too Dumb to Die, another decent one. Some great one-liners, teenage life, union strikes, etc. Blah blah blah. I like all the guitar feedback during the second verse. The run from Bouncing Too Dumb is where the album shines the most for me. Troubled Times, not a fan. The lyrics are great. It's just really boring. It's like the worst part of 21st Century Breakdown. Forever Now, then you go to the best part of American Idiot with Forever Now. It's not a Jesus, not a homecoming, but it's still pretty good. Part one, I'm freaking out. It's the best part. It's autobiographical. The guitar riff in A Better Way to Die, though, is fire. You get the album name drop with I Want to Start a Revolution. I want to hear it on the radio. Then it wraps back up with the opening song, Somewhere Now, which is better in the context of this than the beginning. But it should have closed with this.
Instead, we get Ordinary World.
I think Ordinary World fits as a closer. This is where the acoustic closing track becomes a thing, I think. This is the where they start the trend. To me, this is Ordinary World is kind of like the ending of the same song of Forever Now. Like they should just put it all on the same track. It's a simple country acoustic song, but Billy sounds really good. And I like how it ends the album with like complacency. So, back in the USA, it ain't back in the USSR. It's just a,
Well,
Green Day political, typical song that we've heard so many times now at this point. But yeah, that's my notes for Revolution Radio.
Bill, do
Bill?
you have anything to add?
I mean, I don't know so much adding. I'll just, comment kind of on stuff, some of the things that Jason mentioned. I thought Somewhere Now was a fine intro. But then again, I like Brutal as well, so take that as it is. Um, I felt, hearing this album after the trilogy felt more rock than the last couple. I'll also describe it like it was definitely more,
Modern
I don't want to say
rock.
noise. Yeah, which is what I listened to a lot. Yeah, it sounded like American Idiot. It sounded like, a bunch of
Sounded like
2000s
all the
rock band.
bands that sound like American Idiot.
Yes. That being said, I felt for an American Idiot reprise, which is more or less what it is. I mean, call it at face value. I thought they still did a solid job at it. It wasn't American Idiot though. I mean,
But
especially
what
like when you look
is? Yeah.
Political songs, check. Multi-part song, check.
check,
Boulevard of Broken Dreams, check.
check.
I
So
mean,
Like it,
Wonderwall.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, it's
Well,
it's all there.
and we were talking about a little bit this off camera too, so we won't get too deep. But when you talk about the hypocrisy of naming an album Revolution Radio in what is that, 2016, 2008?
2016.
2016.
That was a big year in politics.
That was a big political year.
But radio's dead.
Yeah. I mean,
And we've
radio died
already like
years before
we've
that.
already melted down at the iHeartRadio festival, which if you don't know who iHeartRadio was before they rebranded into iHeartRadio, that is the major company that killed music and radio. So it's like we're simping for the man here, but trying to disguise it is, I don't know, some sort of weird nostalgia. The kids don't know what
Yeah.
a boombox is in 2016.
No, but saying that's I mean that's like some of the stuff that they're doing for like the branding and the song. Like it's an American Idiot reprise, but it's the references and how they frame it is I don't want to say dated, but it doesn't fit.
Sure.
I mean
Yeah.
for as political as
Ah,
Troubled Times was for a song, it wasn't a good political song for Green Day standards at all. Like just calling it at face value.
Sure. Well, and I mean, to be fair, American Idiot kind of nails that one on the head.
Oh God, yeah.
That song's, ubiquitous with it. And so at this point, they're really just chasing that and not succeeding. There's nothing like, in the last episode, which you're watching the playlist, right? Good.
Me?
My thumbs are up. Uh, the collective view.
Well,
But in the last episode, we talked about like Stadium Arcadium and the load reload debacle. And all these things where these overindulgent bands just record way too much stuff that just all sounds very generic. And yeah, there's some good stuff here and there. But overall, it's like, what the hell are you guys doing? You know? And I feel at this point, like Green Day is they're trying even harder than Weezer. Go way back to season 2 and watch those episodes where like Weezer is trying to still like stay relevant with pop radio and alternative rock radio. And it feels like Green Day's trying to toe that line too.
so, I mean, Green Day
but
is
it
just trying to
worked.
still sound like Green Day.
It
Does it work
worked.
though? Did it?
I'm not talking working in like a musical context of the album, but commercially it
Commercial.
worked.
Well, again, this was a success.
Yes, this was a success.
Wow. Wow.
Welcome to
Okay.
Still
2016.
breathing was huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
huge as in like in the '90s sense, but like for radio now.
I mean, and Troubled Times was, I mean, it was politically, but Troubled Times was pretty active, even not on the radio.
Bang Bang
I
was
remember hearing it.
semi big.
I mean, just because they were big doesn't mean that they were musically good, like we've talked about
Yeah,
that
yeah. That
before.
I'm
But it
talking
kind of ties
two
back
different
in like,
things.
okay, so that corporate machine that they're rallying against for album after album for
That
at least for like at
that's
least
fueling and
a
paying their
decade.
that's paying their bills.
Right. The thing that they're rallying against and basing their whole image on and selling to children. So like you get the packaged rebellion
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, if you're just like, oh, I'm a rebel because I dyed my hair and I wear studs and I bought all of that at the mall.
Like I said, if you're young and this lights something in you,
Oh,
it it
please do.
it might, lead to other
Yeah.
things.
Feel that
Well,
burning
It's a
deep in your
Fisher
heart.
Price, my first political band.
And am going to throw that out. My Fisher Price bands were bands that we've covered on this channel, like Def Leppard and Poison. And we haven't gotten a Motley Crue yet, but we will. Um, yeah, every
Yeah,
kid
that's
hears
the
whatever's
80s.
on the radio at the time. But you got to realize that what you listen to when you're 12 isn't always good.
No, but it can
Even
lead
by
to
the
other
time you're
things.
14.
You,
So
you're not you're not still just listening to Def Leppard, right? Def Leppard
I
was a
I
gateway drug.
barely listen to Def Leppard.
It
Like
was a gateway
if
band.
a song comes on the radio, I might not change the channel.
It's a gateway, that's
Exactly. But it's crap. And I know that now. And
as long as
yeah,
it
I might
opens a
have some
gateway to better
nostalgia
shit.
for it. I might have some nostalgia for, some Bringing on the Heartbreak or something, but even but like in that case, like you're hard pressed to find anything better in Def Leppard's catalog. Whereas if this is your gateway, you're gonna find better stuff in the Green Day catalog.
forward.
Yeah. Well,
Let's say I
that's a
don't think
good
it's still
segue.
I don't think this is anyone's number one.
That's a good segue. Let's just go ahead and fucking
Does
rank
that
it.
make sense though to you guys? Or am
Well,
I just talking nonsense?
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I
Okay,
smell what you're stepping in.
cool, cool.
Oh,
Well,
fuck.
Bill, how well do you know what shit you just stepped in? Because sure, you got the dot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I see no reason either of you dislike this more than Trey. So I would say both of you at least have it above Trey.
You're right for me.
You're incorrect for me.
Oh, it's gonna be Tim's bottom.
Yeah, that is correct for me.
Okay. For Jason though, hmm, I think he's gonna put it. Is it above Uno?
No.
So it's gonna be just above 21st century.
Yes.
Okay.
Bill, where are you ranking it?
You know, oh,
You like
I
it
mean, you
better than
nailed on the head.
Dose.
Oh God, yeah, it's better than Dose. Um, I mean, as you said, you mentioned. I mean, it does harken back to American Idiot. Is it a toned down American Idiot? Absolutely. But I also mentioned how I felt Trey did a decent job of leading into um, Revolution Radio, which is why I'm going to put this one right above Trey.
For me, I'm that's a hot take putting as a Green Day fan, Revolution Radio over 21st Century Breakdown. But
You also did.
that's what I'm talking about myself.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about you guys. You guys are just y'all's opinions. They
We all
matter,
just a bunch
but
of drunk boys
my opinion
ranking
matters
shit.
the most in the Green Day community on this video.
Absolutely,
I know that's a hot take,
absolutely.
but whatever. Not my Green Day. All right. Stick around. Speaking of albums people
Not your
don't
Green
like,
Day. Oh,
we're talking Father of All. So, as always, be safe, make good decisions.
Are you broken? Like I'm broken. Are you restless? She said, fuck you, I'm from Oakland.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all and then you're ready to go again.